This is Eddie Hearn, Matchroom Boxing. You are watching Sporting Icons. You don't need to be anywhere else.
Right, now I'm not going to talk about this subject again because for whatever reason, usually I'm called like a Matchroom fanboy, and even though I've consistently said it's not Matchroom, it's UK fighters. That's what I support first and foremost. That doesn't mean that I don't support other people outside the UK, of course I do, but my whole goal is to put light on the UK fighters. That's pretty much what I do. And if a promoter gives me what I want, they get praise. If they don't, then I'll hold their toes to the fire. And it's as simple as that. And it doesn't matter whether it's Eddie Hearn, Frank Warren, Barry McGuigan, David Hay. It doesn't matter who it is, okay? So, no, I'm not a Matchroom fanboy. It's just that I talk about Matchroom a lot because they consistently give me what I require in an event, which is a good main event and a very good undercard. I like the whole thing. I don't want to just tune in for the main event and then that's it. Because that's what I do with some Frank Warren shows. That's what I do with most of the American shows. And I don't want Matchroom to go down that route. And I've been feeling lately that they're letting it slip. Now, big up to Casual Boxing Talk, because I listened to his video on it all. And he raised a lot of good points in this one and factual ones. So please go check out Casual Boxing Talk, CBT. And he mentioned in this video the word transition. And some of you guys in the previous video as well mentioned it in the comment section that, yeah, and I get it. And I've always understood that there's going to be teething problems. And I've said it before. But transition is definitely the key word to use because he's not going to go in there to America and to zone all guns blazing and doing exactly what he does in the UK, in the US. That isn't going to happen, and he does need to spend a lot of time and a lot of focus on America. He needs to make this DAZN thing work. He's got a lot of people pushing back from him, so of course he needs to do a bit more of a push to try and get people on side. But there's a lot of people over there, doesn't matter what he does, they will never ever be on his side. Doesn't matter what he does. He could have Wilder versus Joshua, Fury versus Ortiz, Miller versus Dylan White, and etc., all on the same card, and they will still find reason to hate on him for it. They just don't like him, whatever it may be. But you know what? So as like a little bit of a response to the previous video for some of you guys, because like some of you guys have been saying that I'm overreacting, and it's a fair point. It is a fair point, but it's like I get accused of being a Matchroom fanboy. And when I kind of show you and I prove to you that I'm not, then I'm an Eddie Hearn hater, which is ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. And some of the comments were just laughable. I'm sorry, but some of them were just laughable. And so I suppose I first have to say, you know what, you may not agree with everything that I say. And as a boxing fan, you're not supposed to, We're all supposed to have our own ideas, okay? If I say something, if you disagree with it, fine, disagree with it. Just be respectful with it. That's all I could ever ask of you. And I will always respect you, and then you respect me. That's pretty much how it goes. I'm not here to have an internet beef with anybody in the comment section or any channels or anything like that, okay? But one thing that I will say, and hopefully a lot of you guys know, I'm always honest. Always. If there's something I don't like, I'll say it. Maybe I'm deemed as controversial at times, and that's fine. I don't mean to be controversial. It's just that sometimes I come across that way. And also, I don't always express exactly how it is because it's never scripted. I don't have a script in front of me that I read from. That never ever happens. Maybe I should. And maybe the quality of some of my videos could be so much better if I did. Because I do miss out a lot of points. So, of course, when I do the video and I upload it, I do spend some time thinking after, oh man, I should have said this, I should have said that. So anyway, that is what it is. But now, one of the things is that I have a bit of an issue as well, and I'm not going to get into it, but with certain sections of the Matchroom backroom staff, okay, I have a bit of an issue of rudeness and things like that, and ignorance. I'm not going to get into it, but I do have something there. But as I said, so maybe that was a bit of a catalyst to me having like a little bit of a rant as well, but that's not the main reason at all. I mean, firstly, I'm a UK boxing fan, as I've said, and it's not Matchroom. So if Frank Warren puts on a good show, I'm going to say that was an excellent show. And it always starts with what I see on paper, always, before the event even starts. And usually I know if it's going to be a good event or if it's not. It's very rare I'm wrong. But you know what? Sometimes I am wrong. But anyway, so you see, some people think that I'm unhappy because Eddie Hearn is trying to crack America. Not at all. Please go check out the videos. They're all up there. I don't delete videos. I was happy that Eddie Hearn signed up with DAZN, and I've been supporting it. But of course, my initial reaction was, and probably will be going forward as well, that I'm worried that the UK events are going to be neglected a little bit. I don't want them to take a bit of a dive because he's consistently given me a certain standard, and I expect a certain standard. Do you understand what I mean? So if I'm seeing, I know, some events that are starting to slip, then I'm going to bring it up. Now maybe I did overreact, and you know what? Maybe that is a catalyst from a lot of the signs that I'm seeing that are not normal from a Matchroom show. As I said, they put on some great events. And I do expect the odd event to not be as good as others, of course. Of course, I mean, that's perfectly normal. But one of the things that kind of annoyed me a little bit, and it is predominantly Joshua versus Povetkin, is that the October the 6th in Chicago and October the 20th in Boston, the main event and the entire undercard was named virtually straight away. But what I don't get is, why is it that they have been, be a show that is before them, Joshua versus Povetkin, even now, it's still not complete? That's ridiculous. Surely you prioritise what's next, right? Surely. But that was one of the things. I mean, for me, I don't understand how two American shows can be fully announced, but yet a Joshua card is not. I just don't get it. Again, that's not normal, because usually a Joshua card is fully announced. Usually. But anyway, it is what it is. But, I mean, again, I suppose maybe one of the reasons why this card isn't looking too good is because a lot of people were giving Joshua and Eddie Hearn criticism over the whole Wilder situation. So with Joshua and Povetkin, if there's like a bit of a cloud over it, because there's a certain section of Joshua fans even, and Eddie Hearn fans, I suppose, if he has fans, I don't know, but they're kind of looking at it going, but hang on a minute, you didn't give us the Wilder fight, and we blame you for that. And a lot of people do, and that is it. So of course, because of the criticism, I expected Eddie Hearn and Joshua, of course, to bite back and put on a stellar undercard. But, you know what, 8-9 days left now? It's still not even finished. And that's worrying. That is really, really worrying. I mean, in addition to that as well, I mean, you know what, we always hear how Joshua can fight anybody. Okay, and he'll sell out. But the thing is, this is not only a Joshua event, it's pay-per-view and at Wembley Stadium. These are key points there. Wembley Stadium, the national home of the English sport, the English football team. 90,000 spectators. So of course, I expect that to be the biggest show of the year. But I'm feeling underwhelmed with it. To be brutally honest, and as I said, I don't expect you to agree with me, not at all. I'm just giving you my opinion, is that if it's 90,000 people, or capacity-wise anyway, it doesn't look like he's going to hit that. But as it's Joshua, it's pay-per-view, Wembley Stadium, I expect this to be the best event of the year. I'm not talking fireworks, I'm not talking all that kind of thing. I'm talking undercard. Should be the best undercard that you could possibly put on. But it's not. I could name you several events just this year that has a better undercard than what this one does. And if you don't believe me, have a look at some of Joshua's previous events and then compare it to this one, and then tell me that this undercard is on par or better than any of those ones previously. It's not, is it? It really isn't. Now, as I said before, I do expect some weak shows, and because many fighters, they need TV time, so the odd event might be lacking. And I gave you an example before, where the Joe Cordina versus Sean Dodd one. I mean, that was a main event, and that's fine. I don't mind these shows, because these people and the undercard people need TV time. They can't always be fit or have a slot available to them on a Joshua card or a Dylan White card or a Tony Bellew card. You know what I mean? So they don't always have that kind of exposure, and it is good that some of the younger ones, some of them coming through, are being given a headliner act. But as an event as a whole, as I said, I do expect the odd one, but when it comes to a Joshua card, I don't expect it at all, to be perfectly honest. But as I said, I mean, this is a Joshua pay-per-view event, and it hasn't even sold 80,000 yet. Was it 75,000 I think it hit? And there's like 15,000 coach package. Why on earth would you have 15,000 coach packages? That's ridiculous. I mean, it's fine if the undercard was stacked, Eddie. Okay, if the undercard was stacked, they will come. If you build it, they will come. You've seen the movie Field of Dreams, all right? If you build it, they will come. Joshua is the main attraction, of course it is. Povetkin is a dangerous, dangerous opponent. But it's not like he can just do that and put on any old tosh on the undercard and people will come. It doesn't work that way. Joshua shows will always do well, always. But they won't always sell out because he does need a good opponent, and he does have a good opponent in Povetkin. A lot of people are overlooking him. I don't understand it. Really, I don't understand it. People, I mean, have you ever seen Povetkin knocked out before? No, you haven't. We've only ever seen him dominated once, and that was Vladimir Klitschko, who used elbows, who leaned all over him, who grabbed him in arm locks and threw him around the ring. But other than that, you've never seen it. So I don't understand why people are overlooking him. But as I said, I mean, Eddie has always said that Joshua can fight anybody, you know. Joshua can fight me, and the event will sell out. But this one hasn't even sold 80,000 yet. So I don't understand. I mean, how can, you know, that proves his theory wrong. Not only do you need Joshua in a good fight, and that alone will sell a hell of a lot of tickets. Now, 80,000, 75, 80,000 is a hell of a lot of tickets. That's more than any other fighter in the world could probably do. But it's not sold out. Do you know what I mean? This fight could have been put on in the Principality Stadium in Cardiff, Wales. Really, it could have. What's the point in going to Wembley? And if you want it to sell out, you need to put on a stacked undercard, and it's got to the point now where it's too late. But most importantly, as I said, it needs a good undercard. And Matchroom have consistently prided themselves on great shows and not just a great headliner. But for me, this one feels like it's lacking. I know people say, you know, you're being a baby, you're overreacting or whatever. But as I said, this is Joshua, this is pay-per-view, and this is Wembley Stadium. Honestly, I don't know what more I can really say about that. And I'm sorry, you know, I'm a Luke Campbell fan myself, and I like the fact that he's taken on Ivan Mendy. It's a rematch, and, you know, this is for the WBC final eliminator, which is great. But I'm sorry, but this Luke Campbell versus Mendy is not a worthy co-main event or chief support, whatever it is you want to call it. Because that fight alone could not headline anywhere. And if Eddie Hearn honestly believes that it can, no. Now, I'm not saying that he can't physically do it. Of course he can. He can put anybody as a main event. But it ain't going to do well. How many people are really excited about Campbell versus Mendy? I'm not, to be honest. It's a fight I want to see, and I wish Luke Campbell all the luck in the world to rectify that previous loss. But it's not. It's a mid-card fight, is what it is. That's pretty much what I'm trying to say. And here in the UK, Eddie will chat with anybody. Okay, so again, this is like another point. Is that, you know, he will chat with literally anybody. If you've got a camera, a phone, a dictaphone, whatever it is that you want to record him or voice record, whatever, he will always give you time. And he's given me time on plenty of occasions. He's offered me time that I couldn't always take. Because there's always been like some kind of reason as to why I couldn't do it in that particular moment. But he never goes out of his way to do it. Okay, he's never come up to me. I've never seen him go to literally anybody, and I've seen him plenty of times. But unless you're Sky or IFL TV, then you've really got to approach him. And you know what? I understand the numbers game, but that's fine. Okay, as I said, if I really want to interview Eddie, all I got to do is call up his office. It's not a problem, but it's the fact that, you know, here in the UK, he will walk up to Sky, he will walk up to IFL. And as I said, they're huge platforms, okay? So he can get his message out to more people than what anybody else can. But he makes the effort for them. And that's fine and all dandy. But when it comes to America, he approaches these people, as in the haters. Do you understand what I mean? The people who, it doesn't matter what he does, they're always going to chastise him. They'll have him on their little show, on their podcast, and have a chat with him, try and belittle him, try and back him into a corner, try and make him slip up, and then afterwards spend the next however many weeks and months making every second video about him, criticising him. But yet he keeps on giving these people time because he has this delusion that he can turn them, but he never will turn them. Now, you know what, I understand it's a challenge for him, but for me, his time should be spent on his supporters in America, like, I don't know, Hitman Boxing and Casual Boxing Talk, you know? Why is he not getting hold of these guys and saying, let's have a chat? Because these people do support him, but he wants to put his efforts into the haters. Now, for me, he should stay away from the haters, in all honesty. Because he's giving them shine, he's giving them spotlight. And they'll keep running him and AJ's name into the dirt. It doesn't matter what he does. So giving them time, it grows their audience and creates more anti-Matchroom Boxing fans who will what? Spread the hate. That's more people who's going to listen to them and continue spreading the hate. They're there just to hate on Eddie Hearn, but he keeps on giving them shine. And that's just ridiculous. It really is ridiculous. So why is he not approaching people like Hitman or Casual Boxing Talk or whoever else it may be who's actually supporting him? Why is he not doing that? Do you know what I mean? Why is he giving his time and effort to the haters? Because he's never going to turn them. I know he thinks that he is, but he's never going to. And this is pretty much all I want to say. And as I said, you know, all these people who follow their channels are going to be encouraging other people to come and start hating on him too. Now, I don't want to call them boxing fans because they're not boxing fans. As I said, it's like some of these people are just here to hate. Everything's anti-Eddie Hearn. Pro-PBC, anti-Eddie Hearn. And Eddie Hearn has this delusion that he can turn them. Mate, you're not. I'm telling you, you're not. He should be reaching out to these other ones in America who do support him, who are going to spread out a message. Have a chat with them, grow their sub count, grow their views. Because then they attract more people. Again, that's more people to spread how great Matchroom could possibly be. At least give them a chance. But these other ones that he's spending time on are not doing that. And they won't do that. They will never do that. But anyway, as I said, it's not about me. And I know a lot of people think that it's about me. It's not even about me. It really isn't. Okay, as I said, I can just call up, no problem, and get an interview. It's not a problem for me at all, but I just don't want to do that. I really don't want to do it because, I know, to be perfectly honest, I've got an absolute backlog of fighters that, I've promised interviews, but, I just don't have the time to do it, and that's the absolute truth of it. I don't get the time, or as much as I'd like to, because everyday life, family commitments, especially with my son's condition, as a lot of you guys know, it is getting worse. But, you know what? I do promise to clear the backlog and I will get all these fighters on all the interviews that you guys want. But no, it's not about Eddie Hearn, okay? I don't need Eddie Hearn on here. He doesn't need me and vice versa. Okay, so I know there's a few people thinking that, but it's really not true at all. I've already had Eddie Hearn on here before, and he's offered me time before, and I just can't do it all the time. So no, it's not about me. But if you want to think, yeah, that's fine. If you want to call me a Matchroom fanboy, that's fine. If you want to call me an Eddie Hearn hater, that's fine. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. So basically, that's it. So I suppose in a nutshell, if Joshua is the main man, then he's the main event, he's the main attraction, then his shows should be stellar. They should be the event of the year. And this one is pretty underwhelming for me. And I'm worried that he's looking at DAZN in America as the priority and starting to neglect what goes on here. He's still going to put on good shows. Of course he is. But if he doesn't have the time or if he doesn't have the talent, as in the fighters, then first of all, go out and get some more. But as Joshua versus Povetkin is before the American ones, this should have been his priority, surely. And there's a couple of fights on these cards that could have been on this card to make this card even better. It's the show of the year, right? You've got Katie Taylor fighting over there in America. Again. And that's fine. She should spread her wings and go fight in America. But when there's a card in the UK that could do with that kind of fight, she should be on this one, not on the American one. Anyway, it ain't just that. I mean, there's plenty of other fighters as well out there that could potentially be on this card that aren't. I'm sure there's reasons why they can't be. And I know that he's having to spread out these fighters on other cards. I get it. But for me, a Joshua pay-per-view event just seems a little bit neglected. Anyway, yeah, so go subscribe to Casual Boxing Talk. I liked his video. I appreciate what he said, of course. So go check him out. He's a real good guy. He's funny as well. And unbiased. Really, really unbiased. His Akazam is Hitman Boxing and others, of course. So go check out these guys. Anyway, you drop your thoughts below. Did I make any kind of sense on this one? Again, I probably missed out something. But, yeah. Drop your thoughts below, click that thumbs up and subscribe. Catch you all on the next video.